Hello and welcome to Never Seen It, a podcast about movies we haven't seen yet. I'm one of your hosts, Betsy, and with me is my co-host and my husband, Trent.
I'm with you.
You're with me for all of this nonsense.
All of it.
All of it. Today, we are going to be honoring a specific movie star.
Yes.
Because June 10th it would have been their 100th birthday. Mm-hmm. So I know you haven't spent a whole lot of time in old Hollywood, but today we are celebrating the birthday of Frances Ethel Gum, or better known to her fans as Judy Garland.
Judy.
So yes, June 10th would have been Judy Garland's 100th birthday, but sadly was taken from us far too young. So I've watched a lot of her movies.
And if it wasn't apparent, Betsy is very much into the old Hollywood.
I love old movies.
Like the old silver screen type of stuff.
Yep.
Yes.
And she is an icon from this age.
Yeah.
And you have seen, I think, a whopping one Judy Garland movie.
I've seen the one that everybody's seen.
And what's that, Trent?
That would be The Wizard of Oz.
Yes. So the classic, not even necessarily children's movie, but a family movie that everybody has seen.
Just a great movie.
And I'm not really that surprised, given your background, that you have not seen more.
Yes, and speaking of my background, I mean, the reason why I was so much into The Wizard of Oz is because of kind of where I was born.
Yeah.
So the guy who, and this is a complete aside to Judy Garland, but the guy who wrote the Wizard of Oz book, the original
Frank Baum.
L. Frank Baum, actually lived in my hometown for like a few years. And because of that, my town has basically adopted him as their native son, even though he only lived there for a few years.
Yes, and they've made a whole thing about it. His house is a national registered place you can visit. Just on the outside. I don't think you can go inside.
No, because
people live there.
It is a private residence.
It is a private residence. And then they've got a whole like Wizard of Oz thing, motif somewhere in town.
There is a park in town that is dedicated to Wizard of Oz and a lot of different like fairy tale stuff.
So it makes sense that of all the movies when you were a kid, that's the one they would show you.
Wizard of Oz was very much in my life growing up.
So we had a ton to choose from, but I was trying to decide what I thought you might actually enjoy, and I finally decided on 1954's A Star is Born. So there are 4 versions of this. You have seen the most recent one.
Yes, I've seen the Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper movie, which I really, really enjoyed.
You really enjoyed.
That was my number 1 movie that year for all the Oscar movies.
Yeah, so you're not going to be completely out of touch with the concept of what we're about to see.
Yes.
But they are a little bit different, this one to the next one. And all 4 of them have kind of their own thing going on. Sure. But this one is 1954. It stars Judy Garland. Do you know anything specific about this movie?
I mean, everything that I would assume about it is based on the movie I've already seen. So I don't really know anything specific about this, how it stands out, or even like how, I don't even know what this is based on. Was it based on a book? Was it just an original thing that people just really, really liked, so they remade it 3 times? I don't know.
Yes, that. Because they made it in like the 20s, then the 50s, then the 70s, and then the 2010s.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so they've made this 4 times, and they all have kind of a similar thread.
Yeah.
So if you remember the story from the one you have seen, you can fairly well assume the skeleton is the same.
Sure.
But the details are different. And I'm going to guarantee right now there's not one other actor in this movie that you recognize that you have seen in anything else.
Well, and what I'm curious about is, okay, I know the Bradley Cooper character. Is there going to be an equivalent in this movie? Okay. Because it was basically a 2-person movie. Yeah. The one I saw. So, I'm just trying to think of what are the comparisons going to be. Is it going to have the same kind of an ending? Is it a more uplifting one, or is it the same kind of downer? So, yeah, I'm just kind of going in blind, other than for what reference I have of the more recent one.
Fair enough. So with that, we're going to go ahead and go watch A Star is Born from 1954, and we will be right back. And we're back. All right, Trent, now you can say that you have seen 2 Judy Garland movies. Mm-hmm. What did you think of A Star is Born?
Well, first of all, happy birthday.
Judy Garland.
To Judy.
Yep.
You know, because I knew what I knew about the one I've seen, I kind of knew what to expect to a point.
As far as it not ending well.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I knew there was probably going to be some kind of tragic event that ended this movie. Yes. In one form or another.
Yes.
Now, just to give some kind of context here, I said that I really liked the Bradley Cooper one. And I mean that. That movie gutted me back when I saw it. I cried, and I don't really cry at movies.
It's as we get older becoming a more frequent thing, but
yes. You cry at everything.
I do. I was crying at this.
Even though you've seen it a million times.
I don't care. There are certain movies that will always make me cry.
Fine. Fair enough. So, me watching the Bradley Cooper movie, I had the context as to what to expect. There's going to be this lady that a dude meets, and he is more famous than her. He helps her become more famous. But he has problems.
Yes.
He has personal issues that prevent him from fully living out the rest of his life. Mm-hmm. And in the Bradley Cooper movie, I think it was done much, much better as a movie. This film, is a musical wanting to be a movie.
I think this is a movie that has music in it. But because it's Judy Garland, it falls under the category of musical.
Yeah. And I wish, and maybe she thought this as well, that this was just a movie. That she could have just acted without having to sing all of the things. This movie is about 3 hours long with an intermission.
Uh-huh.
And of course, this is, we'll talk about this, this is with some extra footage and extra content added that was originally not in the original cut. So it's a long movie, and there's a lot of music here. I don't think it needed to have all of the extra music. But we know that she's a talented person.
But that's the reason it has so much music. In 1954, if you have Judy Garland starring in your movie, you are going to give her as many songs as you possibly can.
Yes.
And that is what they did here.
And that's unfortunately a symptom of the time more than anything else. It was the 1950s. You got Judy Garland in your movie. It's going to be a big hit. What does everybody want to come to the theater for? They want to see Judy Garland sing. And that's a disservice to Judy Garland as an actress.
Fair.
And I think when she was able to really lay it all out there, she was fantastic. Mm-hmm. But as it's kind of shown here, when you get to that pivotal moment where she's really laying it all out there and she's bearing her soul and really admitting what's really going on here, it's almost unearned because you also don't see the deterioration of her husband.
I think
it's all kind of happening in the background.
Right.
And again, that's another symptom of it being in 1954. You're not going to see a sloppy drunk.
No, there was only so much they can give you. Like, they didn't even show her throwing up. Like, they pull the car over because she's so nervous she has to puke. Mm-hmm. And it's in shadow and there's no sound. And you just see her, like, kind of dabbing her face. Right. That's all you see. Right. So this movie was very limited by the time it was created.
Right. And I have to keep on telling myself that. Again, I keep on going back to this. This is a musical. It is presented as a musical. There's so much singing, and it's all by her, by the way.
Oh yeah, she's the only
Nobody
person,
else sings.
Which is why I say this is a movie with music in it.
Yeah.
More than a musical.
Right.
Because in a musical, people are singing, but they're not really singing. They're expressing their emotions.
Yeah, it's a way to get the plot going.
Yes, but here she's singing to sing.
These songs have nothing to do with the plot whatsoever.
Rarely.
I didn't get any of it. But then again, I didn't really pay that much attention to the singing.
To the lyrics anyway.
No.
Yeah, there's a couple of songs that there are specific references to what is going on in her life. Okay. But it's not a song about her. It's a song she is singing that happens to relate to what else is going on.
Right.
Which is why I keep saying it is a movie with songs in it.
Right.
It's not so much a musical. Like when you think of a musical, it's usually non-diegetic versus this, which is all like, this person is really singing.
And what it seems to me, and of course this is just me speculating here, the script here was presented to a studio and they really, really wanted to make it, but they didn't know how to make it. So they put in a bunch of singing and songs in it and got Judy Garland to sign on to it. And, oh God, we got Judy Garland, so let's just make her sing everything and then hope that the rest of the story comes through. And I would say the last third of the movie is the best because it's got the least singing in it.
You like the movie part of this movie.
Yes.
You could take or leave most of the music.
Absolutely. You could have gotten rid of half, if not more, of the songs, and the movie would have been just fine.
Were there any of the songs that you liked that you were really impressed by?
So I come at this from a couple of different angles. While we were watching it, the first song where she's in the jazz club and the band is there just kind of jamming.
Yeah.
That song was really impressive. But my problem with this is right after that, Norman comes and meets her, and she's all shy and like very modest about her talents and whatever. Girl, you were just out there fucking belting this very complicated song, and you think, oh, I'm not good enough. Shut the fuck up.
Dude, you do not know how self-conscious people who perform are. Like,
I know.
You think that they're all a bunch of hotshots. Oh, hell no. I do it, and people are always coming up and saying nice things to me after the show, and I'm like, please stop. Please. I've had to grow over time to be able to just smile and say thank you, even if because we're our worst critics. So That's what's going on here is she's just like, well, I've worked really hard to get here and I'm totally satisfied with where I am.
Right.
And you're coming in here telling me I'm amazing and to think bigger.
Right. And then you go back
freaks
to
her out.
And I think about the Bradley Cooper movie, and she's working in a bar, in a drag bar. And she's up there singing in French because that's what she likes to sing.
Yeah.
And it's such a nothing thing for her because she's doing it for herself and she's doing it for her friends who are there. And in this thing, she's kind of traveling around at least California, if not the country, with this band doing these shows.
She's making a living.
She's making a living. She does what she wants to do. She wants to sing. And she gives a little bit more background. You know, I've had tough times. I had to wait tables. I never want to do that again. I'm stuck in my rut. I'm going to make a living doing what I'm doing. And, you know, if my wildest dreams come true and I can get a song on the radio at #1, I will have made it.
And that's her big dream. But he tells her dream bigger. Dream
bigger because you are that good. Now, this is from someone who is pretty much at the top of his game.
He's been at the top of his game, and now he's coasting.
Right.
Where he is right now, he is plateaued.
Right. Like Hollywood has gotten enough of Norman, and he's just kind of let himself go to a point. He's only, from what I can see, he only wants to take parts that he is the star. He will never take something where he is second fiddle. And even at the end, like, who am I playing up against?
Well, and they say it a couple of times. The only thing he has left at that point is his pride.
Yeah.
Like, literally, all he has left. He has no job, no prospects. And this is an interesting thing about this movie is this is a Hollywood movie. We've talked about this before. Hollywood loves movies about Hollywood.
Oh, yeah.
And this one paints a really broad picture about the system as it was in 1954.
And, you know, it is pretty revealing.
Yeah.
As to, this is the fucking grind.
This is how it works. You don't just waltz in here and become a star. You come in here and our little group of consultants decides how you should look and how you should be.
Yep.
And we're going to fix you if you're not good enough for your screen test.
And you may or may not ever get a shot, but if you know someone in a high place, they can put your name in there and you might get fucking lucky.
Yes,
like
it's a lot of luck.
Someone had a scheduling problem, and guess what? You get to fill in this one time. And if enough people see you that one time, guess what? You're the next big star.
But you're under contract, so you work for this studio, and that's it. And you'll do all the bullshit jobs they tell you, like, put your arm out the window and wave, but we don't want to see your face.
Yes. And this is old Hollywood stuff. This isn't the way it is now, but, like, the studio contracts and the studio heads, I was kind of shocked that they went this far. And made this movie the way it is. And maybe this is why they had such a problem between the actual studio who made this movie and the creators, because this movie, I don't even think got put up for an Oscar nomination.
This got nominated for like music and production.
Okay.
And then 2 actors got nominated.
They did. Okay, but none of them won.
Nobody won.
Yeah. So, and I think I go backwards a little bit. They didn't win because of the animosity that the studio had with everything else.
Okay, that's an interesting take on it.
That's my take, is because they put it all out there, and it was pretty, like I said, it's very revealing. It does not show it in a very good light. They could have went further.
So I'm going to just back the train up a little bit, because we're talking specifically about Judy Garland. I want to give you some history about her. So obviously she was a child star.
Yes.
So I think she signed with a studio when she was like 11 or 12. She was very, very young. And, that would have been 20 years before this movie.
Sure.
They, in that time, literally would pump the actors full of drugs.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they would pump her and her co-stars up on amphetamines so they could just keep filming, keep working. Mm-hmm. Then they'd give them downers to sleep. And then they'd wake their asses up and pump them full of amphetamines again.
Believe me, just watching this movie, I got a lot of that in how she was portrayed, how her life was portrayed.
Yeah, and
the grind that she had to go through, and like shoved over here and then put in front of a camera here and sing this thing. We and then go back into your trailer for 5 minutes, come back out. We need to get coverage. We need to get like a close up of you on the final number. And then you get 2 minutes to go to the bathroom, and then it just keeps on going.
Yeah, go over here to publicity and talk to this lady. No, go talk to that lady. No, go talk to this guy. No, talk to this other person. Okay, bye now. Like, what was the point of this visit? Everybody just shuffled you around. And then she tells them her name, and they're like, oh, we'll get you a new name.
We'll get you a new name.
Because your name is terrible. Like, her and Norman, their real names are singularly awful.
Yes, they are. They are.
What is it? Ernest Grubbins or something
like
terrible?
That. Yeah.
And Esther Blatchett.
And we don't find that out until they go and get married at the Justice of the Peace.
Yeah, so I get why they would change her name to Vicky Lester. I said her real name in real life. Her name, Judy Garland's birth name, is Frances Ethel Gummer. Or Gum, excuse me. And that's a name. That's the kind of name people had in those days.
And it doesn't happen nearly as much anymore, but it still does happen.
It does. I mean, even people. A lot of it has to do with the unions and the Screen Actors Guild, and like you can only have one person with a specific name.
Yeah.
So like Michael J. Fox, his middle name does not begin with a J.
Right.
Michael Keaton's name is not Michael Keaton. Julia Roberts is Julie Roberts. This happens like all the time, but it's usually something similar. It's not so dramatic as, your name is now Vicky Lester. Learn it.
And the one that comes to mind that is like a contemporary is Olivia Wilde. Her last name is Cockburn.
Yeah, I don't know why she wouldn't want to use that one.
Yeah, so you're going to change your name sometimes if you think it is going to help your image. And sometimes it does.
And in this day, again, the studio era, it happened all the time. Yes. But they're really good in this about demonstrating the grind.
Yeah.
Like, you are under contract, you show up at 6 a.m. on set, drunk or not, you're going to go to work, you're going to come home when we tell you, you're going to rehearse for fucking weeks to make this big musical.
Yep.
And then, they even showed the Academy Awards in this movie, and this was in the days, it was just a banquet.
Yeah.
You just showed up, had a little banquet, hand out some awards.
You had maybe, 20 tables, if that. Mm-hmm. And you gave out your awards, and then you went home. That was it.
The first ceremony wasn't broadcast, and I think it lasted 15 minutes.
Right. Just giving out awards, and that's it.
Now it runs longer than this entire movie.
The red carpet is longer than the ceremony.
Right? Oh, it's such bullshit. I don't care about the red carpet. I want the awards.
But you still want to watch it every year.
I do. I don't watch the red carpet typically, though. I don't really care about that
I don't
part.
give a shit about that shit. Mm-mm. No.
What else did you like about this movie?
I like Norman's accent. I feel like I have actually heard that accent, if not that voice, in other things.
Okay, James Mason has a really iconic speaking voice, and there are people who do impressions specifically of him.
Okay.
So I would be willing to bet the person you've heard it from would be Bill Hader, if you've heard it ever.
All right.
Because he was trying to figure out a way to bring out a James Mason impression for Saturday Night Live.
Okay.
But because we're 60 years removed from when he was a star, nobody knows who that is. So
I don't know.
It was something he never quite mustered up. But I do know there's a lot of people who reference this particular accent because he has that very upper crust British speaking voice.
And of course, I mean, we're not experts in accents, but yeah, there was like you said, an upper crust kind of an accent, and then you go down the line, you go into the Cockney accent, and as an actor, having that upper crust thing is probably advantageous to you to try to get more work.
Oh, sure. And again, especially in those days, this is contemporary for when it was made. This is in the time it's set, 1950s. Yeah. But, sometimes you get a couple years before this Singing in the Rain, which was set in like the 1920s when talking pictures come into play.
Yeah.
And a lot of people in those days, you could be beautiful and sound like garbage. Mm-hmm. And then when they invented talking pictures, you were out of a career because you could not muster up the energy to not speak like a trash person.
I watched The Artist. I know what that's about.
Right. And that movie's all silent, but
yes.
It's very much about that era.
Yeah. And again, another movie very much about Hollywood.
Right. And of course, this is a prime example of what I'm talking about because the lead in that movie is a Frenchman.
That's what I'm talking about.
He speaks English, but he does this whole movie because it's a silent picture. He gets away with it.
Who cares what his accent is? You're not going to hear him.
Yeah, it's not a problem so much in the 50s. They'd pretty much washed anybody out who couldn't hack it anymore. But you were still very subject to, you get a contract, you work for me, you do what I tell you, when I tell you, how long I tell you, I pay you what I want.
Yeah, and this is very much before the actors' unions.
Oh, yeah.
And like that shit will not fly today. And, and why do you think actors get paid so much money?
Oh, yeah.
And like all that stuff has to be hashed out well beforehand so that the actor gets their due and they're not going to be wasting their time.
Yeah, the big stars made money in those days in the 1950s.
Sure.
But you were beholden to the studio you worked for. And when they decided you were washed up and done, or you were a liability like Norman is in this movie, no one will touch you with a 10-foot pole. And then, of course, you've got the PR people who just treat them all like dirt. They're just doing their job and they're like, oh, we're going to make it the wedding of the century and we're going to put you on the front paper and blah, blah, blah. And,
trying to get your name back out there for
any publicity.
A positive spin on your garbage life.
Yeah, any publicity is good publicity, and you have one good thing going for you, which is your connection with this woman.
Right. This hot new actress that everybody wants a piece of. Guess what? You're connected to her. Good for you. Your status will be increased because you're attached to her now.
But of course, we get the same moment in this movie that we get in the Bradley Cooper one, where some piece of shit PR guy oversteps his bounds and says some shit to him.
Yep.
Like he just rips him a new one and tells him, I never liked you, you're garbage, and you're going to take her down with you. And he immediately, after being sober for who knows how many weeks, goes on a 4-day bender.
Yeah. I forgot that about the Bradley Cooper one.
Yeah, she has some friend or guy who works at the record company who says, you should really go away because you're bad for her.
Yeah.
And that's what makes him go and make bad decisions.
Yes.
So that's what happens in this movie. He literally has one bad day, but he's so fragile.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of scenes where, like, he's home alone and he signs for a package and the guy says, oh, does Vicky Lester live here? I'm her husband. Okay, Mr. Lester.
Yep.
And that's really in 1954 a degrading thing for a man.
That trigger is debilitating for him. It's really, for someone who was living off of his good name for however many years and being as famous as he was, to have that happen to him is just gut-wrenching. I'm sure. Yeah. And especially in the 50s, like you said, your name, I mean, Betsy took my name, but not for any kind of like big reason. I mean, I don't give a shit. I would have been fine if you kept your maiden name, but
I wanted it, I took it, it's mine.
Fine. Fine. But that's the thing. Back in the 50s, that was a big, big deal. And which is why at the very, very end, the last line, my name is Mrs. Norman Maine.
Yeah. And I just start weeping at that moment because and the reason she does that, we're hopping all over the place, but that's okay.
Yeah, and we're not going to cover the entire thing. It's fucking 3 hours.
There's a lot to cover. But there are a lot of points I want to bring up, and we're hitting them. So at the end of the movie, she's basically, he has decided, he overhears a conversation with her and the studio head where she's saying, I'm going away. I'm not making any more movies. I'm going to risk it all.
I'm giving all of this up for now to take care of my husband because I would not be a star if he did not believe in me.
Yep. And so I owe it to him to give this thing a real chance and to give him a chance.
Yep.
I'm walking away.
We're going to go away. We're going to go away from everybody who knows us. And then, because back in the 50s, you didn't have the internet and like gossip columnists all over the place tracking your every move.
It was harder, certainly.
Sure. But you could go to the south of France and have yourself a good sober time.
Mm-hmm.
So
she says, when he gets better, maybe we can work and we'll be happy and it won't be so hard and he won't have the reputation he has here. Right. And the studio head says some shit like, he's washed up, he's been washed up, he's not coming back, there's nothing left, and he's dragging you down with him. Right. So again, kind of really harsh words, but of course, Norman is awake and hears the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it fucks him up so bad that he decides to go for a swim and drown himself. He walks into the ocean and he does not come back out.
For her.
Yeah. Because the only thing he feels he did right in his life was her. Mm-hmm. And she had already agreed to appear at this event, this fundraiser, something or other. Benefit, before he passed away. And she's sulking and being sad and devastated in her house, and her friend comes to take her. Yeah. And she says, I'm not going to that. No, I give up. I don't want to do it anymore.
He said, you said that you were going to do it. She says, well, that was before this happened.
That was before. So she's feeling sorry for herself and everything's over and her life is ruined. And this is her friend who we met at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah, who she was in the band with him.
Yep. And he basically lays into her.
Yeah, and I told you while we were watching it, I don't know how I feel about this. Mm-hmm. Because really, he's right. Yeah. All of the things that he said about Norman doing everything for her, and the only thing that he was really, really proud of was finding her and getting her to where she is.
And she has this big career, and he succeeded, and she is the only success that he really felt like he had.
Right.
And now you're going to take it away from him.
And they don't say it, but the reason why he did this is for her. For her to be able to continue on.
Yeah, he didn't want her to quit.
He knew that she loved him so much that she was willing to give it all up for him. And he didn't want to have that happen.
He said, bullshit, I'm going into the water.
You're not going to make that decision for me.
Yep.
I'm going to be out of your life, but you are going to continue to be a star.
Yep. And of course, when it looks like she's not going to do it, her friend gives her the tough love she needs to get her ass in gear. Yeah. And he's harsh. He is
very harsh.
He's very harsh. But I really think that there are some people in your life that are not going to take up your pity party. Yeah. They're going to say, shut up. Get dressed, get your ass in the car. Yeah. We're doing the thing, and you are moving on in your life. Yeah. You don't get to sit here and ruin everything he worked on. Yeah. He believed in you, so believe in yourself. Get your ass. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he does not hold back. And she kind of, takes a breath and straightens her shoulders, and off she goes.
Yeah. And that was a powerful moment, I think.
There's a few really powerful scenes in this movie.
The other one that I kind of already talked about it was with her in her dressing room when the studio head comes in there, and it's been like a few weeks since the incident at the Oscars.
Yep.
She's at a recording, she's doing another movie, and she just lays it all out there. He drinks all the time. He wants to get better. And at this point, we don't even know he's at a rehab center.
Well, before rehab existed.
Right.
He's at a sanitarium. He's at a loony bin.
Sure.
Because it was the only place people could go in the 50s.
Sure.
Rehab didn't exist.
for what the time is.
For what the time is,
That's what it's
like he makes
treated as.
some comment while he's in there about somebody pretending to be Napoleon isn't going to come and interrupt us, are they? Because this is where they put crazy people.
Okay, all right, fine. I did not really get the fact that, yes, it was a loony bin.
Yeah, she calls it a sanitarium because that's what they had in those days.
I guess.
Rehab came later.
Yeah.
Facilities like that, you basically, and this is a long stemming problem, and we could get into this about other movies and things, but yeah, like in the 1800s, like that's where you put people.
Yeah.
Even if they weren't crazy, if they had anything wrong with them, they just automatically, blind, deaf, dumb, you went into the loony bin.
Yeah, and what I really wanted to bring up here, this movie and the Bradley Cooper movie, they don't treat Norman and they don't treat Jack as bad people for being alcoholics.
No.
You are not a bad person if you're an alcoholic. And in both movies, you're not treated like that. You're treated with someone who has a problem. Everybody's got problems. I got problems. You got problems.
Yeah, he is introduced in this movie as an unreliable alcoholic.
Yes.
But he is able to pull himself together. And like when he shows up to see her, when he tracks her down, he's dead sober.
Yeah.
You know, he's slept it off a little bit and he comes to see her. And he has stretches where he does great. But it's his crutch. Every single time something goes badly, he immediately decides this is the road I'm taking. And it's his vice. It's his thing that is dragging him down. And after so many years, there's just no coming back from it. And
again, it's something that I really appreciate because I have known plenty of people who would call themselves alcoholics. And they're not bad people. They make poor decisions. They have a chemical dependency that they either get help for it or they don't. You have to hit the bottom and it has to be up to you to get out of the bottom. You are never going to be able to tell someone and force someone to get help. They have to do it themselves. And she's trying really hard. But yeah, in that scene, she's just like, it is just the most painful thing for her to be standing there helpless and watching him do this to himself. And her saying to the studio head guy, I hate him for failing. Yep. And I hate myself for hating him. That's some emotional shit right there. Again, that was probably one of the best scenes in the movie because she's allowed to be an actress. Yeah. And not just a pretty girl up there singing and dancing. Right. And she made a lot of, floofy, Mickey Rooney and her doing musical movies. Sure. This point and later in her career, she did get to do some actual acting. So she got nominated for Best Actress in a Leading Role. And then a few years later, she made Trial at Nuremberg, which is, a movie about the Nazis in post-World War and the trials at Nuremberg. A happy film. And she got nominated for Best Supporting Actress for that. And she's doing like a German accent and the works. So I've never seen that movie, but she had so much talent in her teeny tiny body. Judy Garland was 4'11". Yeah. You don't really see it on screen. But one of my best friends is taller than Judy Garland and she's 5 feet tall. So it's just, she was this very tiny, petite woman from bumblefuck nowhere, Minnesota with this enormous voice. Just gigantic presence. And I just, I love her in this movie. You're right. There's a lot of songs. I kind of forgot how many songs there are. I think you could have shaved a little bit out of it. But you brought up one thing, and I made sure to mention it to you while we were starting the movie because I was like, oh yeah, I just remembered this weird thing. Yeah. So there is footage from this movie that is missing. It is just fully gone because this is back in the age where things were done on film and they only made so many prints and stuff deteriorates and stuff gets destroyed. That's why things like the American Film Institute exist to try to save as much of that as possible because they're literally sitting in storage canisters falling apart. Right. And so they had a print of this movie that had other footage in it and it's gone. And they have yet to rediscover it. It's possible that someday they will. Somebody somewhere has a copy. But there are parts of this movie that are just pictures. They're just things that they had during the filming, like production photos, basically. And they have the audio. And they just sort of play the audio
behind these still photos.
Right.
And it's a good 10-minute chunk of time about like the, second reel of the movie.
Sure. And I read a little bit about this. So the footage that we're talking about here is footage that was actually cut from the original print, the original release of the film. What I was saying before about the studio and the creators, the directors and whatnot, were having a strife about you need to cut this down. As it is right now with the missing footage, it is almost 3 hours with an intermission. Mm-hmm. It's a long movie, and there's a lot of songs in it. Now, the studio wanted them to cut it down, because people were getting sick of these long-ass epic movies. I imagine, anyway.
It was, the epic was starting to die. Yeah, by the 50s, they started becoming fewer and fewer.
And from what I saw of the cut footage, I agree that it should have been cut.
Right. It just basically is a scene where Norman meets Esther, and he says, I'm going to make you a star.
Yeah.
And quit your job. And then he goes and passes out and gets taken away and basically blows her off.
He goes off to film a movie.
Yeah,
he gets shoved into a car and go to the ocean, go on a fucking boat and shoot a movie.
Who knows where?
And then she is stuck there with her thumb up her butt, just with nothing to do. Yep. So she goes off and does the thing that she swore she wouldn't want to do. She goes and waits on cars instead of tables.
She works at a drive-in. And
she's a car hop.
She's a car hop, and she does like stupid little commercials where she's the singing voice for a marionette.
Right.
And she's just kind of left hanging. Yeah. And then he shows up. He finally is able to find her because he sees the commercial and he does some investigating.
Sure.
And he finds her and helps her. So it's really not necessary for the story.
No, all you needed to do was, hey, here's my address. Here's my phone number.
Yeah.
You could have cut all that out with just one thing.
And if you watched it, if you were remembering the scene before that and then where it picks up for real footage again, it is like he says, let's go to the studio, and they go to the studio. Yeah. But there is another scene that's kind of missing later where she's going to her first preview. Mm-hmm. So there is genuinely, I think, I don't know if it's stuff that needed to be in there or it's just gone or what, but there's just straight up missing footage from this movie. So if you ever watch this, it's weird, but you have to know that going in, it's intentional.
Right. And apparently this was all refound in the 80s. Mm-hmm. And because the fans demanded it and you had the ability to put it all together, we had the technology by that point where they put it all together with these are like production stills. This is still footage and photos of while they were on set of these actors acting towards each other. And not necessarily like behind the scenes stuff, but in context, it makes sense.
This is all the stuff that they put out as part of the PR packets when they put these movies out.
Right.
It wasn't like now where you had to, make a killing immediately. No, these movies had slow burns where they would go from theater to theater across the country and momentum would build and it would take months for a movie to get their money back. Mm-hmm. And so they had shitloads of promotional materials with them. They would have posters and postcards and magazine clippings and all these different things, and that's what they used all of this for.
Sure.
Was here's some 8x10s that you can hang up in your lobby so people get interested in watching this movie. Oh, aren't those beautiful photos? Look at these beautiful people being beautiful.
Yeah, you don't think about it. Back in the day, you had to physically have a big reel or multiple reels of film to take around to different theaters.
Oh, this was probably a 4-reeler.
and introduce one audience of however many hundreds of people can be in that one audience, if that, to introduce them to this film. Then you got to take it to another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. And that's an expensive prospect.
Yeah.
To not only have the reels, but to get them there.
And they wear out, and they break, and they get dirty.
You have to have people there who know what they're doing. Yeah, it's an expensive prospect. And which is why, like, films as they are today are nothing like it used to be.
No.
Like actually going to a theater where they have to have the reels.
No, they email you the file basically. Here you go.
Or like even like like 20 years ago, the theater would get a hard drive. They would stick a hard drive into their projector, and it had like all sorts of like weird encryption on it that you couldn't just like rip it out of there and put it up on the internet.
Oh yeah, we could do an entire episode just talking about the actual physical medium of film and how it has changed over the years.
Yep.
But yeah, guys, if you've ever watched a film, something that was made on actual physical media, you know, all those grainy little pops and noises, that's because of the film. There's just literally shit on the print.
Yeah, we talked about it a little bit when we were watching Top Gun. Like, that print has a whole bunch of like dirt and shit on the film, and when it got cleaned and digitized, that stuff was still on there.
You can change some of it, you can fix some of it.
Yeah.
You can't fix all of it. Sometimes it's just there
even
because that's all you can do.
All the way into the 80s. And even in this film...
Even in the 90s. We had movies until the 2000s that were not digital.
And in this film, there's actually like some footage that was included in the movie where it's like people like going to a movie premiere or something. Like people on the street. And that footage actually looks bad because they didn't probably have the original footage of that.
And it's dark and
to improve it. Yeah.
It's also like the rare stuff they did on scene as opposed to on a set piece.
Right.
Like they're actually outside, which means it's going to be dark and it's going to be hard to see and the light is hard to control.
Yeah.
That's why everything looks cheesy and weird.
You didn't get a lot of outdoor shots back in the day. It was all on
People
set.
didn't film on set.
Which is why I thought about this while we were watching it. While he goes out to the beach.
Yep.
That is actually outside. One of the few times where they're actually outside. And it looks gorgeous. That scene of him walking out to the ocean.
Center frame.
Center frame with the sun coming down. Good God, did that look gorgeous.
Yep. And he's just literally walking to the sunset to his death.
Yeah.
Yeah. There is some weight to doing things actually outside and on actual scenes. And nobody's gonna do that anymore. Everything is filmed on location now.
Sure, and everything is digital, so you can do everything in post-production and whatever else. I even joked that while we were watching this movie, they just got it. She filmed the movie, they got it done, they put it into a can, and they put it into a projector, and it's done. You know, and there's no editing, there's no post-production, nothing.
Very little.
It's very little,
because the editing is you take a pair of scissors and you glue shit together.
And you paste it together with liquid cement.
Yeah. That is an intense way to make movies, and I applaud the people who spent lifetimes doing that for a century.
Editing is an artwork.
It is.
Even today, editing makes a movie. Ask any director. Directors don't make the fucking movie. The editors make the movie.
This is true. Well, and sometimes the directors are the editors, but they do it under a pseudonym.
Sometimes.
The Coen brothers are notorious for this. They edit their own movies, but they have a fake name that they use, and that guy has won Academy Awards but never accepts them. Because he's not real. One other thing about movies and actual film, there's a part of this movie where they have this big, beautiful Hollywood mansion, and they're having a bunch of party people over, and they say, do you want to watch a movie? Do you want to watch a movie? And they have a new movie with a film projector that comes out of the ground.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking, well, that's a novelty for 1954.
Yeah, that's some rich guy shit.
You don't even have a television yet, most likely.
True.
And you have actual reels that haven't been like widely released because you work at the studio and could just show that in your living room.
That is some rich guy shit.
That is some really serious rich guy shit for the 1950s.
Yes. And speaking of like rich guy shit, after they get married and they go off on their honeymoon, they go into this hotel thing, and this thing is in the middle of the room, and I did not know what it was. And as she goes off to take her face off, he tries to turn it on. Like, there's buttons on it. It is a freestanding coin-op radio. I have never seen anything like this before in my life.
Well, this is, again, like mid-century technology that was really big in these eras, and now it's like corny as shit to look at.
Yeah.
But like the magic fingers in the bed, you could get beds that vibrated, crap like that, or like phones, or you sometimes had to pay for television. Like you literally had to pump the TV full of dimes for it to work.
That shit was a lot of electricity to turn on. That was an expensive thing.
Yeah, so back in these days, contextually it makes a lot of sense, but to watch it now in 2022, where, you know, we're speaking in a microphone into a computer, uploading to the internet, and people around the world can just click a button and listen.
Right. Like it's nothing.
Like it's nothing. It's a very strange concept to think, ooh, a standing radio. Give me a nickel. It's the height of fashion.
Right. And like I remember like my uncle has this console record player radio thing that still works from the early 70s. That's something you would like shove up against a wall, and that's just like it's just a conversation piece. Like you walk by, you open up the sliding door on the top, put a record in, and you slide it back, and it's still playing, and you can put your drink on top of it.
Yeah, don't spill your drink.
I love that shit.
Yeah, this is one of those great examples of a movie where it really captures like what life was like in the 50s.
Oh yeah.
It is glamour, it is beauty, it is also Hollywood was harsh and not a pleasant place to be. Like when she's at the funeral.
Yes, I wanted to speak about this one as well.
She is at her husband's funeral, and there are thousands of fans
accosting her
like, we just want to see your face, and they like rip her veil off.
Right.
Like they don't care about you as a human being.
What a fucking commentary about celebrity in 1954.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. And like the PR guy who's on the phone, he's like, oh yes, I need this and I need this. Oh, yes, it's very sad. He keeps saying, the end of the conversation, yes, it's very sad. Oh. But he doesn't give a shit about
how dehumanizing all of this is.
Yeah. And that guy literally is just doing his job. And his job is, I can get you 1,500 words on Norman Maine and his career. And, oh, yes, it's very sad. Don't let me forget to mention that I pretend to care.
Right, and he's like mentioning things like the AP. Now, the AP is the Associated Press. They're a much bigger thing, but they've been around for hundreds of years. So the AP will put out like bulletins about things that are happening. Your local news station or newspaper will put things that were written for the AP in their newspaper and on their newscasts. But back then, they didn't really have a big entertainment thing, so the AP wouldn't put out a whole bunch of bulletins about, oh, this celebrity just died.
It wasn't news in those days.
Right.
There were celebrity magazines. Yeah. That is specifically where we did it. We didn't put everything else in the news. Now we've just run out of things to talk about, so we all has bled into each other. Right. We need 24 hours to fill. We're going to talk about Johnny Depp for 4 weeks.
Don't get me started about that shit.
Hollywood is a whole thing. Like, even in the 50s.
Yeah, even in the 50s, it was like...
It was glamorous, but it is a dirty, seedy underbelly.
And it's the same way. You just don't hear that much about it anymore. Or, for some reason, some people will just put it out there too. But like the celebrity worship is just as bad as it always has been.
They're people, guys. They are.
Yeah.
They are human beings. Don't accost them at funerals. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Which is why you need to have that friend. And again, this movie and the Bradley Cooper movie, you got that friend who is there to just tell it to your face how it actually is. To ground you, yes.
Yep. They knew you before you were Vicky Lester.
Or Ellie.
Yeah.
Right.
Shut the fuck up. Put on your big girl pants.
Yeah.
Get to work.
Now, speaking of these two movies, I'm going to keep on comparing them just for my own mind.
No, and that's okay, because if you remember in the most recent one, they actually say that one is adapted from both this one and the Barbra Streisand one.
Okay.
So they took elements from each of those movies to create the new one.
All right. The one thing, what I just mentioned about there's a friend there to ground them, that was in the Bradley Cooper one and this one. You've also got the star talking about, oh, I'm ugly. Lady Gaga talks about her nose a bunch in that movie. And saying, no, I'm never going to, like a studio head told her, well, your voice is nice, but your nose is too big. You got to work on your nose. And in this one, Judy Garland is doing the same thing after she gets her makeover.
I've only seen the Barbra Streisand one once, but knowing Barbra Streisand and what her whole look is, I would be willing to bet money that joke is also in that version.
Sure.
Why are people so obsessed with noses? What the fuck?
Or just their looks in general.
It's so arbitrary.
It's completely arbitrary.
Shut up. Gaga looks amazing in that movie.
She does. She really does. And at least for the Gaga thing, she's going to be a singer, not necessarily an actress.
Right, but they still care about how you look. Hollywood, and celebrity in general.
Right, and that one is also in a modern day, so, I don't know, you got a bunch of ugly motherfuckers who are selling millions and millions of records.
Some of the ugliest people in the world are incredibly talented.
Sure, it doesn't actually matter for the most part, but, I don't know, I just wanted to point that out where they're both talking about, oh, I'm not good enough, I'm ugly, but the person who is trying to push them, it doesn't matter. They're hearing the talent. They're seeing the talent.
Yeah, we can work with what you got, sweetie. It's fine.
Exactly. You don't need to change yourself for this. You already got here with what you had.
Speaking of that, there is another direct reference that you very much clamped onto while we were watching this.
Yeah, it's the thing that they actually put into the Bradley Cooper movie in the trailer. It's the when she's walking away and he calls out to her and says, hey, wait up. No, nothing. I just wanted to look at you again.
I wanted to take another look at you.
Yeah. And they do it twice in this movie.
And they directly use that line. It's a charming line.
It really is.
It really is. And it gets them to stop and smile.
Yeah.
And so I get why they used that one. But yeah, you went, hey, it's the line.
And I think that now I understand why they put it in the trailer.
Yeah. I suppose.
Just to get the people who know about the Judy Garland thing. And again, you haven't seen the Barbara one, right?
I've seen it once.
Okay. I wonder if it's in that too.
Maybe. I don't know. It's Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson. He of the chest hair.
He of the hair in general.
Oh, yeah. This is like solidly in the 70s, and he is very hairy.
What was I just saying about ugly motherfuckers? Hey, Chris Christopherson is somebody's type. 100%.
You know, middle-aged women back in those days, that was the type. We've talked about it about Burt Reynolds before.
Oh, yeah.
In the 70s, if you were a hairy motherfucker, you were getting all the poontang.
Oh, yeah. All right.
Well, Trent, do you have any other thoughts about this movie? Any other things that you wanted to bring up before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I just one more thing. I do like the scene of him in court where they just bring in all these drunks. They have a lineup of like a dozen of them where the guys who were picked up the night before, they're coming in for their day court and they got their rap sheet right in front of them. The cop or whoever, the investigator, tells the judge what he does or what he did, and you have an opportunity to either plead guilty or not guilty at the time. No lawyers.
And they just crank through them.
They just crank through them because most of the time they're just going to get, a few days in jail, a week in jail, 30 days in jail, 60 days in jail if you got a history. Like one guy had like 13 incidents about drinking. Why the fuck isn't that guy in prison forever?
Listen, first of all, this is probably pre-Miranda rights.
You're probably right.
So that's probably where we can just crank through these guys. But secondly, this is another scene that really demonstrates just how low he is because the judge says, weren't you Norman Maine, the actor?
Yep. Just taking
Past
away his humanity bit by bit by bit.
And he gets worn down and
the only thing he's got left is his wife.
Yep.
Yeah.
And he sees what it's doing to her and can't handle it.
Right.
Yeah, it's a sad movie. It's got moments of brilliance. Like, there's very sweet moments, like when she's recording and they mic them, and he basically proposes to her and they catch it on like
And they also have a little bit of truth in there. She says, you drink too much.
Yep, they're just like embarrassed, and it's really sweet because everybody is teasing them. And then she says, nope, that was too public a proposal. I have to marry you now to save your pride, basically. There's there's like cute moments like that. And they elope. They don't have this big Hollywood wedding. They just want to have some privacy and get married.
Cool. That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, and there's like a scene.
We did that, but we're not celebrities.
This is true. There's a scene where she comes home from work and he's been home all day being sad, and he makes them dinner, and she does this big musical number, like running through the rehearsal she's doing, just to make him smile.
Just to make him smile and to maybe give him a taste of what life is still like. Yeah. Give him a taste of the life that he has been living for however many years.
And remember what we have, you and me. Right. This is good.
Right.
And this is happy. And I'm so happy with you. And like they end with an embrace and all you see is feet and hear giggling, you know? Right. They're very much in love. And it's just very sad that he cannot get over the demons to see that. Yeah. And so, I very much get emotional watching this movie. I fully was crying by the time she said, "I'm Mrs. Norman Maine." End of movie. Weeping Betsy. Standard fare. Par for the course. All right. So I think that's going to be it for this one. Again, if you have been interested in watching any Judy Garland movies, this is definitely one worth seeing. She's a talented, talented woman. Happy 100th to her. In the meantime, I think we have an email.
We do indeed have an email from Stephanie about Top Gun.
That's a movie we watched recently.
We just mentioned it again. From Stephanie. I like this one. I love the soundtrack, and I just think it's fun overall. Talk about stars before they were stars. I do think the romance is off. It seems very out of place, and there is little to no chemistry.
Okay, so you're not the only one who feels that way.
Uh-huh. I do not believe there is anything there. My husband was a nuclear engineer in the Navy and stationed on aircraft carriers. He was too tall for submarines, so Tim Robbins would most likely be on a carrier, though I'm not sure he would be too tall to be a pilot. Makes sense. I mean, they engineer those things for all types, I'm sure.
Well, and like I said, he might not be too tall, but maybe Tom Cruise in reality is too short.
Yeah, he can sit on a phone book.
Our Navy issued. This is official gear.
That costs $600.
Yeah, $600 phone book for your ass.
In regards to their ages, the Navy sometimes has instructors that are barely older than their students. My husband was an instructor for a couple of years right after he graduated from the engineering school. I'm not sure about the civilian side, but she probably is just a few years older than Tom Cruise in this movie. I mean, yeah, we kind of talked about it a little bit that, she's probably a little older, at least a little bit.
Yeah.
Older than the group, but they never address it.
No, he's a young whippersnapper, though.
It's true. I actually just listened to a different podcast about this movie, and they said that some of the scenes with Kelly McGillis were added later. She had already dyed her hair for her next project, hence the hat in that one scene and weird lighting in another.
Oh, that makes sense.
I don't remember those scenes.
I mean, maybe there's probably some where it's very much in shadow or something.
Maybe.
I don't specifically remember that, but there's like when they hook up at long last, when they make love for the first time. It's all in like profile and shadow. So
well, they would do that anyway.
Yeah, but if they were adding more of that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. I met a lot of these types of dude bros when my husband was in the Navy, and they're not my favorite. However, some of those elite programs really push the competition, and hopefully they even out as they get older.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're pushed into competing with each other and with themselves to be the best people they could possibly be. Mm-hmm. And yeah, that type A shit is just not for me.
No, they're all just like barking at each other. And
I can't handle people like that. I have never been like that. I never will be like that.
It's like, just kiss already, guys.
Right. We talked about the fucking volleyball scene and you know what? I say it again. I do not believe that volleyball scene is as like controversial or bad as what people make it out to be.
Not that one, but the sudden turn at the end of the movie where Val Kilmer is like, you can be my wingman. And then they hug it out. It's like, just kiss already.
All right, fine. All right. just to finish up, I have not seen Maverick yet, but my dad also said it was great, as did my husband and his dad.
Oh, this is, I smell a dad movie. Like, we've talked about this before. When we saw Ford versus Ferrari, that was my, like, one sentence review of that movie. Like, this is such a dad movie.
Such a dad movie that they will just put on TNT one day.
On repeat. Marathon.
Right. It's just one of those car movies that guys that age will love.
And this new Top Gun Maverick movie.
Yeah.
Even though we haven't watched it yet, just based on the limited feedback I have received from all the dads who have watched it.
I mean, just in general, people that I follow, all types, have said that they absolutely loved it.
There's also more story to this, I understand, than in the original.
I would hope so.
So we may get to that one day. We don't have an immediate plan to see it.
No.
But we thank you, Stephanie, for your thoughts on that film.
Thank you, Stephanie. So, if you want to reach out to us and tell us your favorite Judy Garland movie, or tell us about your favorite old Hollywood movies or anything like that, we haven't done a lot of them.
We haven't done too many musicals apart from the animated ones. Actually, I don't think we've done any apart from the animated ones.
Oh, yes, we have.
Well, I guess we did Enchanted.
Yes, we did.
So, but it's pretty limited and certainly not this era.
Right. But yes, email us, neverseenitpod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter, neverseenit_pod. If you want, you can support the show by clicking the link in the podcast description. Do it on your phone, do it on the computer, do it however you want to do it. You could also support the show in a different way by rating us on iTunes and Spotify and sharing us with your friends.
And do all those things and keep listening. We appreciate you guys checking us out from twice a week as we've been putting these out.
And we know it's a lot of content to go through, and we understand that not everybody has time to be listening to an hour podcast twice a week.
But we also know you haven't seen all of these movies.
And you haven't seen all the movies, just like we haven't.
Because we haven't seen them.
Yeah, so at the
statistically.
So at the very least, we appreciate you sticking with us and putting in the effort. And as Mitch from Saskatoon would say sometimes, you can play the home game.
Yeah.
Play the Never Seen It home game. Listen to the intro, go in completely blind, and go and watch the movie when the break music plays.
And then come back and listen to the rest. It's a fun time to be had by all.
You can have the same reactions that we do.
There you go. But that's going to be it for this one. Thanks again for listening. In the meantime, I have been Betsy.
And I'm Trent.
And this has been Never Seen It. And until next time, thanks, guys.
And happy birthday, Judy Garland.
Thanks, Judy.
Bye.